think that we get to watch in real time, happening right now, the final collapse of the mainstream liberal corporate media. And it all comes back to the Trump hush money misdemeanor trial and really the way that they're covering it. The way that they're doing all this stuff, it's really causing the media bubble, the echo chamber, to finally shrink. And everything that they have tried to do to President Donald Trump, it's backfiring. And if their goal, which I think their goal was to draw supporters away from him, well, that's backfiring too, man. People like you, like me, a lot of people are supporting him even more. People are circling the wagons. We're going to do anything we possibly can to make sure that they do not get away with this nonsense that they're trying to pull. These cases, these tactics, they're all waking up. And of course it's waking people up because people are not stupid.
What did you hear?
Well, guys, good morning to you. You know, this is one of the most closely watched counties here in the key battleground state of Georgia. So it seemed like the perfect place to come out and talk to Republican voters and see all of the coverage, all of the things that we're talking about with this New York hush money trial. How is it impacting them down here? So I spoke with about 5 different Republicans, and they represent a very wide cross section, a very diverse group of Republican voters here in this county. And I asked them, how are they being impacted by this trial? Are they paying close attention? And what impact might a guilty verdict have on their decision to support the former president? Here's what they told me. Take a look. Do each of you support Donald Trump?
I do.
Yes. Yes for all 3 of you? Yes. Has this trial changed your opinion, even caused you to waver or question that at all?
No, it's actually caused me to support him more. I just don't believe there's a coincidence that we have a trial happening in Atlanta. We have one happening in New York. So the question people are beginning to ask themselves, like I did, is like, why now?
It's pretty much everybody says they're picking on him. You know, people are tired of going after him, and you see it in so many areas. It's really not a big issue in the party. Actually, they're really making everybody mad, and they look at a big bully, and the government is the bully.
I think it's more than just being a bully. I mean, it is an abuse of power. It's an abuse of everything. And the guy right before him, he said something I think is really important, something that a lot of people are saying. Why now? What took them so long? And if you know, this case is 8 years old with a 20-year-old allegation. And if you look at these cases, every single one of them, case by case, line by line, every single one of them was intended to happen after he won the nomination, but before the general election. And I get, you know, you can have bad timing, but 4 times bad timing? I don't think so. Again, people are not that stupid.
This is going to be your first time casting a ballot. What is it for you that drives your support of the former president?
I think always fighting. I mean, he's taken so much just defense from news and everything, but he still hasn't given up. He keeps fighting to do what's right.
I've talked to many people who formerly identified as a Democrat. They have changed their political persuasion to independent, and they are looking forward to voting for Trump. Wow. Because now they find something in common with a political candidate at that level.
And I think that this is going to be the left's greatest failure with all this. I think that this is going to be their greatest backfire. They had to know that a lot of Trump supporters, they're not just going to go decide to support Joe Biden and his merry band of freaking radicals. That was never going to happen. They had to know that that was never, ever, ever going to happen. But I think what they hoped they could do was make Trump even more toxic to voters that had never considered supporting him in the past. And that is backfiring the most. People are switching, man. People are waking up, and it's not just Trump. I think what a lot of the casual observers see, I mean, their bills have gone up. The crime in their neighborhoods has gone up. The people they've supported have literally put porn in their kids' schools and opened the border to a point that they're feeling it as far north as Massachusetts. And instead of addressing any of those things, instead of even talking about them, let alone develop a plan, they just tell you that everything's great. You've never been better, as they try to jail the only other option that you have. That's what people see. And again, people do see. People are not stupid.
And you say they find commonality. What is that commonality?
They have felt persecuted by the system of American injustice. And it's not a stretch for them to think that Trump may be a victim as well. People see that there's some kind of commonality between himself and maybe all the black men that have been incarcerated and the families that have been impacted by black male incarceration.
So you heard a lot there. That was the sum total of about 3 hours worth of conversation distilled down into those sound bites you heard. But let me just tell you a little bit about those voters. One of the people that you heard from was the chairman of the county GOP, the Republican Party here. We talked to a longtime volunteer, somebody who's out knocking on doors, talking to voters every single day. And then also in that group is somebody who is going to cast their ballot for the very first time this fall as a current 17-year-old. And so really what I heard among all of them, though, is that the trial only furthers their support of the former president in many cases, and that a guilty verdict would not impact their support.